Um, yeah, well, I guess that's up that way now. Well, whatever. Anyways, donations and whatnot, please and thank you. And yeah. Yeah, I do have this. We're good. Gotta turn it on though. I'm itchy. I don't know what to tell you. If I got an itch, I'm gonna scratch it. Most people do. I mean, dude, it's not a crime yet to scratch an itch, so. Itchy, itchy, itchy. I don't know, I think I might have like a hair growing in right there. You know how like whenever you have new hair growing in, um, it will get itchy? It's just right in that spot. It's so damn itchy and I don't know why. Maybe aliens abducted me and now I have a new tracker right there. I don't know. Maybe. So, that's number wang. Alright. I've been itching that little spot all flippin' day, and it's probably raw as flip. So, well, like when you're healing too, you actually itch in a spot. Palm leaf hat and holiday resort. Okay. Interesting. I just claimed. So, okay, so there's this interview that's going on about feminism. Like, it was on the Vice channel or whatever, and, um, I, I, I watched this person. Okay, so a few days ago, I was informed via a person, I don't, an interviewee of that, oh, it's raining, of that thing. Okay, so, one of the interviewees had, made a YouTube video about her being like asked to give her viewpoints and thoughts about sexism and whatnot. Well, oh damn, I thought I had the walls done. This is embarrassing. But well, I wrote a little thing about how I had it done, but I didn't have it done, which is sad. So, but anyways, this interviewee of this feminism group and everything, she had made some comments about how they severely edited the stuff that she was saying, so it made her look like a pretty much like a doofus. And I was like, well, you probably really were saying some pretty legit stuff that didn't go along with the people's narratives and and the common sense factor. Oh crap. And so I was meaning to watch the full interview, but I hadn't got around to it. I might have been avoiding it just a lot. But I mean, when it comes to negative things, I don't really seek it out. I don't want to, seek it out. But that's the only way you can stay informed and blah blah blah. Okay. Well, this YouTuber that I get some of the news from did this live thing where he was reviewing that said interview, and it ended up he was putting on in his own little words and whatnot. He was being completely sexist because on both sides of the male and the females, they both need to get their heads out of their butt, honestly, and realize what they're doing to each other. Both of them, both parties, they need to man up and woman up and understand that they're not the only people, and to like actually consider being a decent like person instead of, oh well, you know, I am a victim because I'm this color or that color and blah blah blah. And I'm just like, I am so flippin' sick of this crap. I can't even. I mean, it's like, wow. I was like, I don't care if you're flippin' magenta or purple or some sort of pink sparkly monster. If you're not a decent person, if you're not acting with respect towards one another, don't expect to have that respect thrown back at you. Because people aren't going to sit there and take it. It's like a holy flip. What do you expect people to do? They're going to ignore you if you're being a stupid moron. Okay? They're going to let you get it out of your system. They're going to videotape it. And they're going to keep shoving that right back in your face. Hi, by the way. But, it's just, it aggravates me to sit here and listen to somebody sit there and go on and on and on. Oh, woe is me because of this and that, because of my skin tone and blah blah blah. I was like, alright, well, what are you doing to better yourself? What are you doing to do this? What are you doing to make your life not so miserable? What is your game plan? What exactly are you going to do for the rest of the all? You know? I'm not saying serve people. I'm not saying cater to anyone. I'm saying if you're not doing something for the future, the children, the future, people who matter in this world, more than what the adults think that they matter just because they're acting like children, doesn't mean they matter. Really doesn't mean they matter. But anyways, I am so sick of the spitefulness. I am so sick of, like, all of this flippin' crap. And I'm going, well, boo is me. It's like, I've had a hard life, too. I've had racism being thrown at me. I have had a lot of crazy crap happen to me. But you don't see me saying, like, oh, all of this is the blame and all of that is the blame, but you don't know because you wouldn't even understand because of made up crap and blah blah blah. It's like, first off, put your big girl pants on, put your big boy pants on, and think about your situation. Are there any ways that you can troubleshoot, get some sort of singular thing to make your life even a smidgewel of better? And if you can't find a single thing that you can do for yourself, you might want to go to either therapy and work with somebody like that, or find a friend that you can talk to. Just sitting there listening to a friend tell you what they like and what they don't like about you can often tell you what is wrong or what is good about you, okay? And then from there you could possibly emphasize what is good and try to drop what things are bad. I mean, it's not rocket science. It really isn't. It's like, do you have people flocking to you, asking you what this and that is and whatnot? Are you good at teaching? Are you good at showing people how to do something? Are you good at anything in this world? Maybe try to get better at that. Maybe try to be the best of that. It might be profitable. You might be benefiting the all instead of being a selfish little prick and wasting everybody's time. I'm sure people out there feel like selfish little pricks because I just watched a whole flippin' room full of them sit there and be all catty towards each other and then play the whole victim card of who's the biggest victim. I was like, are you flipping kidding me? I was like, not only did they find the worst people to represent the female race, female sex, other than a few people that were honestly there, but, oh, I'm not even going to go into the whole trans section. Okay, so there was this horrid person that most of them were actually horrid, but they were just sitting there being catty as flip during this interview, and I'm like, wow, are there any adults in the room? Is there anyone there who is honestly going to represent the female kind, or even a little smidgen of a little cumulative of the female gender? And I mean, no, this really upset me. I was very livid, and I was just like, I'm sitting here not screaming, but I was very agitatedly talking towards this live stream that was playing maybe like an hour ago, and I'm just like, Coco's in the background bubbling, trying to get my attention. I was like, give me a minute, Coco, and I'm just like, wow. And then to add to it, this male was just sitting there going like, oh, this is what women always do, and blah 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 blah. And then he double backs on that and says that he does love women, but he doesn't like them. And I was like, well, flip with like people representing women like that, holy flip. And then he goes on about how males are flipping victims, and I'm like, oh. I was like, not only are you being so hypocritical right now, you're sitting there dogging people who are sitting there doing the same thing that you're just sitting there doing. I mean, like, what the flip is this? I was like, have some decorum, honestly. I was like, yeah, most of the time people are douches. Because they're being self-centered and they don't know how to act around each other because nobody's ever taught them. Because either society has failed them, their parents have failed them, or someone along the lines said something to them to where they sit there and either blatantly disrespect each other or look at each other's skin tones and automatically have some superficial something ingrained in them that like this is the filth of the earth, I must treat it like nasty trash. I'm just like, are you people kidding me? So I'm sorry for venting, I really am, but that flippin' interview was just ridiculous. And I'm sitting there listening to there were a few males in the crowd who were sitting there acting like they'd been females their whole entire life, and then sitting there and saying like, oh, how this and that. And then when somebody brought up a very valid point about contraceptives and how they can prevent even having the child by using these contraceptives, it ended up her being, well, that person being labeled some sort of hater of women. And I was like, no, that's just flipping common sense. You can't use killing a life form as a contraceptive. I'm like, you are honestly killing a life form, whether it still be in the womb or not, whenever you're getting an abortion. I am all about people living out their full extent to their life, okay? If you are going to have sex, unprotected sex, what do you think is going to happen? What exactly do you think is going to happen? Are you going to have some sort of like cure-all for something to happen, or is a baby going to happen? It's kind of a no-brainer if you consider that. I am only for abortions in extreme situations. If there was rape, incest, or flipping the mother will not live during the pregnancy, if there, if it was the mother or the child's life, I think that the mother and the father should both decide whether or not they want to honestly do that. It should be both parties' decision, because even though it is the mother's life that's on the line, there is that child, and it shouldn't just fall to the mother's choice. You know what I mean? It's like, I don't care if you decide to cut yourself up into a million pieces. If that makes you happy, that's grand. But when you start dealing with children, and you start using abortions like some sort of like revolving door instead of using a flippin' condom, you might as well just do the whole snippy and like just never have one, instead of continuously killing children over and over again. I mean, it makes sense to me. Go ahead and flip and cut yourself open and take out your womb. It's not going to waste. Or you know what? You can donate your womb to someone who wants it. There's plenty of males out there who want your damn womb. Holy flip. You can donate it to science. Yeah, I know that they don't always like take out the womb. In some extreme cases, like what is that called? It's not a vasectomy, because that's the male equivalent of getting the tubes tied, and something. So whenever you're having like extreme like hemorrhaging and whatnot out of your womb, and there's like ovarian cancer, they like take it out and whatnot. And I've been told that people can live happy, normal lives with that and still have, so there'd be no chance of pregnancy whatsoever if you honestly did take out your womb. Whoops. I thought I was in the, for the life of me. And then, like, most of them just turned on this girl for even, like, recommending contraceptives. And I was like, first off, you should be more selective with your mate. Second off, don't even flip and go anywhere to what drink and or get high or whatever to have sex. I'm like, no. What they should do is most people drink to feel numb, right? Most people drink or get high or take drugs in order to escape from the pains that they have. It's a security blanket. It's like a little band-aid. Okay? It's something or a crutch. You can say it's a crutch too. Give me a second. Okay, so now what I mean by that is if you were just to deal with the problem, I know some problems are really hard to come to terms with. I've had a few of my own to come to terms with. Does it hurt any less? Not really, but I can hold my head up. I am able to look in a mirror sometimes. I mean, some problems just stay with you forever. You can either cower in those problems or you can get over it. Or like some other people like to do, they tuck it away. They'll deal with it another day. But it's come to the realization that certain people like to go off and get drunk and bang anything around just to self-satisfy their need when they could just flip in, maybe stay home, watch something on a free website, watch a romance movie, watch a flippin' read a romance novel, something like that, get a better experience than most of these other things, and actually work on trying to get a real relationship with a meaningful partner. Which would be better in the long run, because obviously you're going to ask about each other's health and your experiences with one another, their experiences with other people, and make sure that they don't have anything that they could give you, and if they do have something to give you, then you could stop and sheath up, maybe get one of those contraceptives on. But whatever, not like that's one of those problems that people aren't experiencing. I swear, nowadays it's like everybody's trying to get the most in that terms. I'm just like, I don't like the whole wham bam thank you ma'am culture. It's kind of really gross. Kind of really, really gross. And it makes you wonder, is this what it's going to be forever? Is this what it's going to amount to? Is this what our future generations have to look forward to? Is this what you want your daughter or your son to grow up in? Wham bam thank you ma'am culture, where everybody's disease ridden and dying of some kind of disease because they don't know how to actually appreciate each other and maybe have a conversation or two before jumping in. I sound mega old right now, but holy flip, there's some common sense to this. I've been ashamedly watching TikToks that have been plastered on YouTube and on my feed because I watch these meme things, okay? because I am not a part of this meme culture. I'm trying to learn from this meme culture. And every so often they will give me some crazy crap where I sit there and I question whether or not I'm on the right planet. I was like, this can't be the planet that I grew up on. This really can't be. No, who's effed it up that bad? You know? It's like, why? But suffice to say, I did not like the way you said, well, when one of these females were being treated. I didn't like how the other one, just because she had a disability, thought that she could sit there and first off attack twice this female and then say that there was something called pretty privilege. I'm like, what the flip is this crap? I was like, I must not be pretty because I've never got that type of privilege. And I was like, I must be too off-white to get that white privilege or something that they keep claiming there is. I'm just like, wow. I was like, well, I guess I missed the boat on that one. And there's supposed to be some sort of superiority that I'm entitled to somehow, and I'm still waiting for this white privilege. I mean, am I not white enough? I mean, I don't match the white on this, but I am pretty white. But no. It's like I have to sit here and listen to everybody's woes about this and that. But then whenever I sit there and I tell you a smidgen of the life that I've had, and people are just like, oh no, that's a lie, blah 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 blah, and I'm like, oh, okay. I was like, would you like to come in the past with me? I will walk you through it. I will point out witnesses. We will go through this together. I will go through this and I will show you how your society has failed me on many accounts. And how I have never had these privileges that everybody keeps saying that I was entitled to. And I'm like, okay, so they're trying to get rid of straight men. No, hold on. They're trying to get rid of straight white men. And they're trying to get rid of females who like men. So I'm like, okay. I see the roles reversed, and it's like, okay, so if I'm not in pain or suffering from surgeries that I probably shouldn't have had, because did your surgeries fix your problem? Did they fix your problem? Or are you still dealing with stuff, if not more stuff? Did the whole world open up and welcome you in after your surgery? Did the whole world just open up and welcome you in after piercings, after liposuction, after butt implants, after boob implants, after eyebrow implants, flipping lip injections, flipping a multitude of piercings? Please tell me, did the world open up and say, you're one of us now? Or was it just a whole crapload of people shrugging their shoulders and saying, Oh, well, it's your body. You'll have to deal with that when the time comes. Oh, I'm completely dead serious. I am asking not only for a friend, but I'm asking for myself. I honestly want to know. Because all I keep hearing are complaints and complaints and complaints about this stuff. People forcing children into horrible, horrible things. Surgeries, flipping, what is that thing called? Hormonal blockers? Cutting them up? Now tell me, what did you want to be when you were 4 years old? What did you want to be when you were 10 years old? What did you want to be when you were 14 years old, 15 years old? Did you have any real grasp of the situation and what was actually out there for you to pick up and learn and try to accumulate this, okay? Or were you just stuck with the whole, I'm gonna be a princess when I grow up. I'm gonna be president when I grow up. I'm gonna be an astronaut. I'm gonna be this or that. Were you just in that mode, or was it you were indoctrinated and excuse me, indoctrinated in into believing that you should be a male or a female depending on what the opposite sex you are is. I mean, like, were you told that you weren't special until you started taking the puberty blockers, the hormonal injections, the flipping slice of dice, the implant, the breast surgery where they take away your still forming chest? It's like, next it's gonna be like, oh yeah, you don't need a heart. No. Let's just get rid of that right now, you know? Oh, we can just hook you up to these electronics forever and you'll be totally tied to it, but who cares because it's random that an EMF or EMP wave would actually attack, or someone having an EMP type of attack would happen. Not that there's anyone malevolent out there who would design or devise a plan in order to have a pocket, thing to make everybody with pacemakers die or whatnot. So, yeah, you don't need a heart. You just have a mechanical one. Aside from the fact that why would they need your heart to begin with? Has anyone asked why they're harvesting these people's genitals? Has anyone asked why they're harvesting their wombs with their eggs? Has anyone even thought about that yet? No? Fresh, unputreated, least amount of chemical interference with these young children, right? So why exactly would they be trying to manipulate children into giving up their sexual organs? I know it sounds like conspiracy theory, but think about it. Why exactly would they need these things? I'm sure as flip sure that they're not just tossing these into like a flippin' ocean or something. into a bio hazard thing and then going, oh, yep, job well done. Let's just go on about our days. I'm pretty sure there's something going on to the point where they're sitting here marketing, oh, you know, in 2030 we devised that we're going to have wombs that are artificial and whatnot. Is that not correlating with what's going on? Like the harvesting of people's reproductive organs? And who's to say? Are people gonna get genetically tested? Are they going to like come out with like lawsuits? Oh, this is my genetic material. Are they going to be able to? People are trying to take full control over things, so it's like it makes you wonder. It makes you wonder about a lot of things. Not only are they trying to force people into fighting, which, yeah, it's annoying. Excuse me. But they're, they're still walking around together. Anyways, they're causing conflict between nations and whatnot to scramble the fact that they held everybody prisoner for up to years with nothing less than a common cold. The flu could whoop the coronavirus's butt, and that's because the coronavirus decided that it wanted its host alive instead of dead. The vaccines are killing people more than the actual virus did. They're weakening people's immune systems, and then they're blaming it on the coronavirus. It's like the coronavirus, like any virus, wants to stay alive, okay? It's a common thing that most virologists will tell you. Anyone working in like the cellular kind of aspects will sit there and tell you viruses want to live. They will change. They will adapt to their host. They will try to keep themselves alive by either quick spreading or flipping, let me go check this lagoon real quick. Quick spreading there is a skeleton down here, isn't there? Holy flip. Quick spreading, becoming more contagious, in other words, and having a better attack version, so to speak. Oh, flip. For real? Alright. I'm gonna take these. I don't want to take all of them. I don't think I'm gonna need more. Ooh. I'll take that too. I have a few villagers that want the anesthete. Okay, so viruses will infect the host, take control over the cells by injecting a, well, trying to feed the cell, thinking that it's another part of the body, and then infecting it, as well as going to the point of taking over the cell, making it a breeding hub, splicing the cell, confusing the T viruses, well, not T viruses, but the T cells, like the little T blood cells. I think that's what you would call them. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's... Why didn't I pick that up? There we go. But it confuses the host, and it just continues to get, just continue and continue to spread itself until it's able to take over certain aspects of the host, whether it's by killing or making you really, really sick. Okay? Once they find out that they're killing you and they're no longer able to use the host, then it gets kind of sketchy for them, and they're like, okay, we need to do things a little bit differently. And that's when they start to evolve. Because not everybody's body gets messed, not messed with, but I don't want to say used or, picked up and whatnot, but not everybody gets found before onslaught of decay has happened to the point where there's nothing left of the genetic material other than the things that have been in the air already that are consuming what was left of your body. I do research, okay? Well, when you get down to it, a virus wants to survive. It's going to try to survive any way that it can. And if it cannot adapt to the host, it's going to adapt the host to it. Okay, let's talk about rabies. Rabies is a virus. In most critters, rabies is going to take over the host. It takes anywhere from 3 days to 10 years is the latest amount of time that someone has been hit with the virus. I know that's not funny, but the virus of rabies doesn't like water. I don't know what is in the water that makes it so antsy about it, but it doesn't like water. I'm like, okay, so there must be something in the water or living in the water that eats it. So it avoids water at all costs. And I was like, that is so flippin' fascinating. So it will keep the host from drinking water. It will keep the host from going around bodies of water. And that's because it goes along their neurological, their I don't want to say cells, but yeah, it gets into the neural pathways and then starts changing behaviors. And this is in animals and people. It does the whole mushroom zombie thing on people and animals, and people don't fully understand how or why, but there's some speculation. Let me just get past this. But anyways, so rabies was just like any other virus, and it didn't know what it was doing until it knew what it was doing, because it had to adapt to the host. So in a way, it's quite entertaining, as well as dreadfully scary whenever you hear that there's a new virus. And although most viruses are unable to affect us in certain ways, there are always those who can adapt. It's like mutations of the virus and blah blah blah. I don't mean to scare anybody, but just hope you're one of those who are pretty much accepting. I mean, don't go like mind meld, like, oh no, end of the world. But hold on, I just had a thought. Anyways, moving on. So, it's not important. But, so, there are a ton of different viruses out there. A lot of them have been harvested and experimented on for up to years, and people think that they know how to take this out in a rapid succession. Some people honestly do, others, there are still adaptations, because think of it like this. They're going to find somebody with an immune system that is going to alter them, the viruses. And with that immune system, or that adaptation that this person has, if the virus is able to learn from it, seeing how it is digesting some of what's in their cell, which is a part of their DNA, if it starts to attribute some of these things to themselves from that host, it could alter itself. That is how it ends up finding a way to survive certain situations. So unless they're very, very careful, they're gonna end up effing themselves and possibly humanity over in multitude of ways. And I wouldn't even blame the virus because of this. I would blame the stupidity of people wanting to create the latest weapon in biowarfare. It's one of those stupid things of like, you know, that saying of like, just because I can, you know? I'm all for going like mad scientist when it benefits the all, but I'm sorry, playing with viruses is just flirting with disaster. Like, hardcore. It's like hey, going up to a biker gang or whatever. There are lots of really nice biker gangs out there, but there are the occasional ones that just want to rough and tumble and, hurt somebody, okay? I'm not talking about the nice ones. I'm talking about, like, the ones who want to, just beat somebody up for the hell of it because they're bored and drunk, okay? So it's like going to a biker gang and then going, like, I really hate bikers because they're dirty and smelly and nasty and blah, blah, blah. You're gonna get kicked, like, probably, like, beat up by, like, most of them. I mean, it's like, what do you expect to happen? I have no problem with bikers. I honestly want a bike. I'm not allowed to, but I don't want a Harley, but I want something that's one of those gyro ones that like makes it impossible to like fully go to the side. Once I saw one of those, I was like, oh, that's fantastic. Before that, I wanted one of those Yamahati or Yamaha. I don't remember what it's called. But I was kind of mulling over the idea of having like a canary yellow one. I was like, nobody's gonna miss that color. I was like, in pouring rain, they're still gonna be able to see me. But then I was told by some people who rode bikes, and they're like, it doesn't matter what flippin' color you have on, because people are going to be so self-absorbed in their flippin' lives and their phones that they're not going to see you and they're gonna run into you. And I was like, I was like, but I won. I'm still gonna, but I want to have like a little sidecar, so I could go shopping, and well, you gotta have like shopping room for food. I like to shop for like the month. I don't like going to the store every like week. It's annoying. I don't want to sit in the lines. I don't want to I don't want to sit in the lines. I don't want to sit there and like go on the self checkout and then realize that you can't get this done because somebody either like put a sticker over one of the what is that, the okay, so whenever you weigh your vegetables out, you have to put this little code in, okay? So if somebody puts a sticker over that code and you can't even read what it is, I know there's an option of flipping typing in what it actually is, but it's still annoying because like sometimes they cover that up too. Excuse me, my nose is running. And then I really don't like. I love going shopping for like grocery stuff, but not every flipping week. I'm not a fan of that. I like getting what I need and then prepping meals and then freezing the meals and then grabbing them when I need them. Normally I didn't have a set time for dinner, but now it's like after 4. Sometimes I don't even eat until 4, which is not good. It's really not good. And yeah. But I like to eat before 8 or I turn into a gremlin, so to speak. I get antsy and super hyperactive, and if I'm not given something that I need during that time, I get grouchy. We're just gonna leave it like that. So that's why I say that I turn into a gremlin. If you've ever watched Gremlins, it's pretty interesting. They can't eat after 12, like midnight, because like some weird thing. I just get grouchy. I don't have a metamorphosis. Not that you can tell. And so it's, yeah, it happens. But anyways, yeah, we were talking about bikes. Yeah, so I wanted like a very vibrant yellow, which would be a canary yellow, and I wanted it to like be bright as flip. There like no mistake, like holy F, there's something yellow in front of me. Oh, it's motorcycle. Okay. Maybe I should not ram the back end of this motorcycle kind of thing. But, whatever. And I was told that okay, so you're not supposed to get a bike that you cannot lift up. And seeing how the Yamahas are like kind of an upgrade from a dirt bike, I was like, oh yeah, I could totally lift up one of those. And Harley Davidsons, even though they're built really like strong, they're super heavy. I would not be able to pick one of those up, and I'd look like a chihuahua on like a tank compared to the I'm small, okay? I would look like a chihuahua on a tank compared to other people fitting the yeah. But anyways, yeah, it's just but I was thinking that seeing how they have some of these balanced ones, I was like, I'd like less likely be able to, you know, um, what is that word called? Fall off. well, not really fall off. I could probably still fall off, but take a side dive, like while turning in like wet rain and whatnot. And I was reminded several times that, in the case of an emergency, people would have to take off my helmet, and I'm like, yeah, okay. And I was like, well, they're gonna catch on real quick as I start turning red. That like, oh, either it's a mass amount of blood flow going to the face or I'm burning. So, yeah. And I could possibly put on the helmet if sun out and I am passed out. Do not take helmet off. That might work, maybe, who knows. Only remove in shade. It's like I don't plan to get in the crash, but yeah. I was thinking about getting like a little dog tag or something that I could put on like a zipper. Like I want to wear like some protection or whatnot. Just in case. Like blood type and emergency phone contact and whatnot, and my name on it. So whenever they see, it's like, oh, okay, this is that. Oh, okay, so they do have medical insurance, and this is their blood type, and this is, it's like, oh, they're allergic to this. Ah, okay. So, you know, like a little medical information kind of tag. Like I don't have pins in my body or whatever, but still, it's still good to have that kind of thing. It's like, okay, so some people carry around those things because they have pins in their body, and just in case they go through like security and whatnot, they have a little medical card showing that they have pins in their knee or their arm or whatnot, sometimes even in their jaw, to for a medical procedure, and that keeps people from putting them in MRI machines, CAT scan machines, and it helps them get out of what is that called? Airport security. I was trying to think of what that was called. It was trying a new approach. Whoops. I hope I have enough. I also want to scuba dive too. I was like, flip that. I am not wearing red. I was like, I will possibly look like something that is venomous. I was like, but I'm not wearing the color red. Well, I know that the color red is like a no-go zone for certain animals on land, but I don't know. I don't remember why that I said that I was going to avoid red in underwater situations, but there was a reason. It will come to me. Like, holy flip, there was this show that I couldn't remember what the name was. It was MASH. And I was sitting there trying to explain this to somebody, And I was like, it was like an old show, and they were around a barracks and everything, and they were the medical ward of the barracks, and it was like, it was filmed mostly outside, and there was this comical doctor, and he was a medic, and blah, 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 and they kept bringing in soldiers, and they were like, and I was like, I can't remember the name, and, I finally got it, like, I think it was yesterday or 2 days, but I had that conversation like 4 to 5 months ago. I was like, I knew I'd remember. I was like, no, I haven't talked to them since, but still, it just hasn't come up. Oh, we were talking about Green Acres and like some old shows and like I Dream of Jeannie and Bewitched and whatnot. Okay, so when I was younger, they had a thing called Nick at Night, okay? And after I was done with my chores and whatnot, and everybody was like, taking their showers and their baths and what, I was allowed to watch some TV. And what I wanted to watch was Nick at Night. It was gray, black and white stuff. Sometimes there was some colored stuff. And I would watch some of that wholesome stuff. I wasn't a fan of I Love Lucy. I mean, she was kind of funny, but she kind of gave women a bad name, and I really wanted to beat the heck out of her hubby. He was like, oh, and I was like, dude, you lay a hand on her and I will beat you down. I was like, I know she's flippin' annoying, but you decided to marry her. I was like, you can either teach her the right way to do something, or you can sit down and shut up. But anyways, because she was always getting in flippin' trouble. I was like, who does this? Now, granted, I do get in some trouble here and there, but it's not legal affairs. I just might say something that's a little off-putting or express myself to people who express themselves all the time, and then they might not like what I say, so then they're giving me stink eye for it, and I'm just like, oh, what the flip. I was like, okay, well, you can talk about all this nasty stuff, but I can't sit there and say that I don't want to hear about you talking about this nasty stuff. Oh, okay. I was like, just don't talk to me about it. And they're like, oh, but you're such a prude. And I was like, and? Who cares? It's like, I'm feeling uncomfortable with you sitting there explaining to these people, like the whole flippin' lunchroom, what you did last Friday night. And I'm sitting here trying to eat my food. I don't want to hear that crap. I want to eat my food. And they're like, oh, well, you can listen to like flipping some headphones and blah blah blah. I was like, you gonna pay for, an MP3 player? Because at the time I didn't have one. I was like, you gonna pay for something so that I don't have to listen to you, or are you gonna move? But whatever. They were going like, oh girl, but he was nasty. Blah, blah, blah. I was like, mother flipper. I was like, I'm trying to sit here and eat. I was like, I don't want to hear what he did to you on the dance floor. I don't want to hear what you did in the bathroom. And I definitely don't want to know his name. It's like, dude. First off, that kind of business is bedroom business. You talk about that kind of stuff with your friends, not at the workplace. That is definitely not workplace discussion. Especially not in a break room in front of everybody who's going to sit there and spout your business everywhere. And yeah, I sat there and I told them about that. I was like, if you want to go, talk girl talk and whatnot, have a sleepover. Sit there and talk about all that nasty stuff there. I don't want to hear it. And they're like, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, I don't care. And then I was called to the office over this, that I was being disruptive during lunch. And I was like, me asking somebody if they could stop talking about grotesque things while I was eating, that's me being disruptive. Okay. I was like, first off, I wasn't the one who insulted them. Second off, I told them that there was a time and a place to do something and that they could possibly have a sleepover just to sit there and girl talk with each other. And I was like, there are males present? And they were like, oh, we're going to need to know who else was present so we can get eyewitnesses. I was like, okay. And I was like, this person from sporting goods, this person from cleaning, this person from fabrics and crafts was in the room. And most of them were just shaking their head, listening to the same thing I was. And I was like, and they weren't even trying to be discreet about it. And they were like, okay, well, what was it? What were they talking about? And I was like, I'd rather not repeat it, but I had to anyways. So I went on to the whole discussion of what had happened, and then they said that I could leave. And I was like, are you going to call those other people in? They were like, we might ask them a few questions, but we believe you. And I was like, okay, all right. I think they might have got some complaints about something else like that, but I was the one that got the complaint. I think they thought that I was the one who sat there and called them out. Well, I did call them out on it, but I didn't go to management about it. Somebody else might have, and it sounded familiar to one of them because there were two managers in the ad office with me. One was a male and one was a female, and the male had gotten closer and went, and then there was like an moment with this was like maybe a day or two after. So I guess somebody else decided to complain, but I was the one that was going to get in trouble. I was like, okay, alright, fine. I really didn't appreciate being called into the ad office so many times just to have my time wasted. I mean, like, I was getting paid to be in there, but it was a whole lot of waste of my time. I was like, I could have been productively helping the company instead of sitting there listening to people complain about me and having it be shown that it wasn't ever actually true. I'm like, hey, okay, so I'm supposed to sit here and do the manager's job? Alright. Oh, one of my favorite times that I had got called to the ad office was whenever somebody, I was working in a deli at the time. So I was in the back from the time that I came in at 4 to 9. And I came in at 4, and none of the logs had been done. None of the temperature logs had been done. Nothing had been weighed out. It was just like people just came in 5 minutes before I was there, but they had been there the whole day. So I immediately threw my hands up and I was like, what the flip is this? You're gonna get everybody in trouble. Because I had opened up the flipping logs, because when I came in, I would cook everything over again, because I know most of those people never flipping changed out the hot bar, and you could walk past the hot bar and see nasty flipping food. So I was one of those people who were just like, nope, here we go. Cooked all the food, and then I weighed out the bad food, and when I went to add it to the rest, like the bad food that had been weighed out, to the rest of it, they didn't have it Um, they didn't have it on there. My first cook at 4 o'clock was to an empty log of temperatures. And I was like, you people have been here since 6 a.m. Where the flip are these logs? We'll just fill it in later. No. Management, hello. And they were like, I was like, oh, hey, how's it going? And I was like, oh, it's not going well. And so I had to sit there and actually talk to them about this. But then they ended up blaming it all on me. And I was like, I was like, I was the one who came in here and flippin' told you about this. I was like, that was me calling you people about this as soon as I came in, like 5 to 10 minutes. Roblox. I do not play Roblox. Like 5 to 10 minutes after I had clocked in, I had the whole hot bar like cooked up. I had made a new sheet of things that should have possibly been like killed off this morning. If you're talking to one person, what do you mean? Is that a typo? Because F and Y are pretty damn far apart on the keyboard. So, if you want my full divided attention, you got it. What you need. I can't even begin to say your name. So I'm gonna call you Sport. Oh damn, I'm gonna need to go digging. Alright then. I guess they're finished talking. So, I'm gonna start right back off where I stopped. So, they tried to get me in the ad office for not putting in the logs when I had just come in that day and called them about it. It was brutal, and I went higher up because they tried to make it my first strike, and they said everybody's accountable for the logs, and I was like, yeah, I'm pretty sure they are, but why don't you check out my schedule? And when was the call made that told you that the logs were not valid? I was like, and who exactly called you? And they were like, oh, well, that we're trying to keep that one quiet. And I was like, from who? I was the one who called you. They honestly didn't know who was calling them. So I was like, well, this is interesting. And I was like, you can even check the cameras because they had cameras on that location. And I was like, you will see me as soon as I go to temp my first food at like 5-minute marker that I had been there. That is when I put my hands up and I was like, what the flip is this? And everybody was like, oh, we're just gonna fill it in later, just put it down halfway or blah blah blah. And I was like, no. I wrote it on a different sheet of paper, and I called management. I was like, no, no, no. This is not my fault. I'm not getting in trouble for it, but yet they tried to get me in trouble for it. I was like, I don't play those stupid games. That's flipping retarded. I was like, I had to get out of the deli because of that. People were just trying to get me in trouble after that. I was like, if they would have just done their job to begin with, there wouldn't have been a problem. Alright, so now I got a lot of it covered actually. Get some more air and then head to the surface. Make a few shovels. Oh, so cute! I'm sorry, big kitty. Alright, so who was the one that needed the andesite? That's not that bad. Okay, I need to put my shovel in the way. Okay. I was just thinking, I do have some cash on me. I might want to level up somebody. What are you selling? 7 coins though. Flip. I'm out. That just gave me a smidge. I need to make a few of these shovels. Dang it. 1, 2, 3 should do it. Then I can move this andesite. Oh, there are 2 people without a job. That means one of these people actually don't have a home. That is kind of regrettable. Trying to see if there's anything in here I can use. I mean, I could make a diamond shovel, but then would that really be worth it? I already made 3 iron. Okay. Oh, wow. Oh, wait, no. I was gonna say my bee neighbors have really started going long distance, but I forgot that there's a beehive down there. It's a lot of sheepies, though. Whoops. need all the splint in order to fill up these sections, and it should be pretty damn cool. Let's see, what else is there to talk about? Oh, there was another time I was called to the ad office and I had to wait 15 minutes for them to say that they made a mistake and that I could go back to work. I was like, what? And I was like, well, what was this regarding? And they were like, oh, it doesn't matter. And I was like, well, I mean, seeing as how Yins were trying to get me in trouble for something, what exactly was, what was I in trouble for? They were like, oh, no, they mistook you for somebody else. And I was like, okay. I just, okay. One down. Oh, that's scary. Oh wow, I got all the way up here. Oh. Thank you for the energy. Alright. Oh wow. That could have been bad. Uh-oh, it's getting dark. Oh, that flippin' horse just startled me. Oh, dude, I had the worst nightmare last night. Oh my goodness. It made me so angry. I just totally went ham on things. I was just like, no, no, no. I've reached my breaking point. Everything's gonna die. And then, like, I just went kind of attack crazy and went after the things that were tormenting me in my dream. And I got really dark. Got really dark. So what had happened was there were these people trying to sacrifice me to something, and I was like, why are you doing this? I thought we were friends. And cuz like I really did think we were friends. I was led to believe we were friends, and they were just like, no, we never liked you, and we were just using you, and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, well, damn. Alright, this sucks. This, like, really sucks. And they're they're trying to kill things on me so then they could sacrifice me to some sort of demonic entity or something. And I was just like, what the flip is going on? They killed a rat on me and then squeezed it on me, and I was like, and I'm like tied down and I can't move. And then they went about killing a gray hairless cat on me. That was like one of those Sphinx cats, but it was gray. I've only ever seen the pink ones, and I flipped out, and I was just like, no, no. I was like, you done effed up. You killed a kitty. I'm pissed. Everyone's gonna die. And then I started going like crazy on people, and I was like, now who the hell is this demon that you were gonna sacrifice me to? And I was like, bring him before me. And then I went kind of I went kind of little, dark, and I might have ripped out his heart and then started slicing it and then sewing it up with his own hair and then slicing it again. And he was still alive and he was talking and everything. And I was like, so you think sacrificing things is gonna make things better? And I was just like, kind of schooling him on stuff. I was getting really angry. So, but anyways, I woke up and I was a little like, but yeah, Coco had started doing some like bubble things, and I was like, it's okay, Coco. I just killed some people. It's all right. In my dream. I really hate people sacrificing things. It's like, who are you to have the right to sit there and choose who lives and who dies? Honestly, are you going to be eating it? Is it attacking something that you love? Why the flip are you attacking it? Is it attacking you? Why the hell did that little rat have to die? Why did that little cat have to die? Just so that you could torment somebody? It's like, no. My turn. It's like, holy flip. And then, like, this demon was just sitting there going, like, you think you're really cute, right? And I was like, no. I was like, I'm calm. I am super calm right now. And they're like, you're not getting any enjoyment out of this at all. And I'm like, nope. I was like, you shouldn't have flippin' killed a cat. I was like, I was gonna see where this dream went. You killed a rat, that upset me. You killed the cat, that pissed me off. I was like, I'm all for, like, dreaming and whatnot, because, like, so far, I have some really weird dreams here and there. But that was the weirdest one so far. And I got highly pissed off. Poor kitty. I did res it, but it's just... It's like the weird things you dream about. I think I was on white chocolate and coconut. Yep. And some rose hip chamomile tea. It's like I didn't watch anything weird or out of the order. Like, out of, like, Horror Fest or whatever. And I was just like, what have I watched that, like, would even remotely regard to something like that? So, you know how, like, your dreams will sit there and symbolize things that you're going through in natural life, or something that you've you've watched or something that's bothering you and whatnot. I was just like, what the flip did I watch that brought that to me? It's like, eesh. I was like TikTok maybe. They haven't started like flipping sacrificing things yet. Well, I mean, I guess if they had like a witch or voodoo channel, there probably would be a lot of sacrificing. Well, people get it in their heads that they need to sacrifice things in order to gain power or wisdom from things or knowledge. Not all witches do this. I know that. And voodoo is different than hoodoo. I know this as well. I've looked into a lot of different religions because I'm just curious, and it was part of the research I had to do. And so there are spirits that are in multiple different like religions, not just like the holy spirits, but there are these spirits in voodoo and hoodoo that are called the Lo. I think I'm saying that right, but they are spirits that you trade things to get them to do tasks for you. And you have to be careful, because if that task is too burdensome for these spirits, they will attack you. Even if you've offered them this or that. Which I found that fascinating. I'm not mocking or anything. I'm just quite interested in it. I don't believe in sacrifice, but I do believe in paying for services. Like, if you're going to do something, then you better definitely be paying somebody for it, because, you know, I'm not going to. If that makes sense. It's not that I'm not going to pay a bill that I owe or whatever. I'm just like, I'm not going to be that sacrifice for whoever to do something for you. That's lame, and I refuse. Most of the time you need a willing sacrifice in most religions or cultures and blah blah blah. But there's always those exceptions where people think that they need innocence and blah blah blah, and virgin's blood for this, or firstborn child for that. And I'm just like, are you people crazy? I was like, if you start sacrificing children, which people are doing that, sadly enough, in many cultures, believe me or not. But if you start doing that, bad things are gonna happen. Okay, so if you look at it like a video game, what happens if you get to a certain point in a video game? Things start getting unlocked, correct? I'm not saying the world's like a video game, but if we were to look at it like this, and with all these Armageddon theories and whatnot being spouted about, all of them point to, you do something naughty's gonna happen to you. Right? Karma exists, excuse me. Most people don't believe in it, but there's plenty of evidence. Whether it be your ancestors, your future entities, or even yourself going back in time through the spirit world or whatever, coming to kick your own butt because you're being a doofus. Things happen. And I'm not going to sit there and spout off things happen for a reason, but weird things usually do happen, and accidents do happen, and sometimes the very idea of somebody going back into the past is going to create their demise in one way or another, because you have to think of, if you've already gone through this damn thing and you knew you weren't going to listen, then why the hell would you go about and try to do these things? I mean, again, okay, so with the, we're just hypothetically thinking. So with the concept of time travel, things have already happened for you to have gone and traveled through time. Okay? Well, if you sit there and you have all these occurrences happening to you, and you don't know who's doing these occurrences, and then you find out later on after you're dead or whatever. I mean, like, there's some movies out there and whatever. So we're just hypothetically talking about this. So say you were to die or astral project, okay? And you found out that you were the one who was leading yourself down that path to demise, okay? Would you stop leading yourself down that path and just let yourself make the right decisions? Or are you going to continue on with what you were doing to yourself just because you remembered that you had done it to yourself? Or something had happened to do it to yourself? Would you become like the Figment if you didn't force those things to happen because you knew they happened? Sometimes the best action is not acting. You know? A lot of bad things happen to people. And I know a lot of people want to, they want more time. They want to change certain things that had happened in their past. But would they even be the same people that they are today if those things had not had happened? I'm not saying people need to go through these things. I'm just asking, would they be the same people that they are now if those things had not happened? If I was given the option to go back in time, I'd say no. I'd say flip you. I'm not making it worse for myself. No. I've gone through my life once. That once was enough. Once was enough. I was like, if you need me to prove some stuff, I will sit back. I will sit there and I will go with you through it. But I'm not doing anything to push or abuse time. I am not going to do anything to change or alter anything at all. Now, after they do it, I'm going to put hands on. But, flip. It's a reaction. I don't attack, I react. And, but with that in mind, what would you do? What would you change if you were to go through the past and alter anything? Obviously, you wouldn't be able to muck up your life any worse than it probably already is, or whatever. Would you go to help others? Or would you go about trying to be selfish and try to help yourself out even though you already know your whole life, and any alteration would then kind of bounce you off of actually being able to remember what you actually did. Like, that you actually went back in the past to change something, because you would then alter something or make it a hell of a lot worse. Making it worse is not something you want to do. So, if you think of it this way, if you were to keep yourself from, okay, so say you fell down the stairs and you broke an arm. If you go back and you survived, right? If you were to go back and change the fact that you fell down the stairs and broke the arm, someone else would have to fall down those stairs. Someone else might not be as lucky as you because they're designed differently and their body might not have been able to withstand all of that tumble, and they could die. Because you alter time, that person might very well die. So, in the grander scheme of things, did what happened to you, was that the worst thing that could have ever possibly happened to anyone? From what I'm told, most people go through the, what is that thing called? Whenever you pass, you go through your whole life and whatnot. I don't think everybody does that. Some people just, claim they saw heaven, and other people sit there and they claim that they, what is the word, had a spiritual experience and whatnot. Maybe they did, maybe they didn't. Do you know for sure what they saw? They say the body floods with a lot of DMT afterwards, and DMT is something that helps us dream. It also helps us, it's a part of the pleasure center, like whatnot. It helps with the serotonin. Like the pineal gland does the DMT and the serotonin, and when you get agitated, cortisols flush the brain, and that ends up doing a lot of damage, which is sad. But with the DMT, that's like kind of a little bit of a pain reliever and a psychological trip, psychedelic trip kind of thing going on. Now, I've heard of people taking like plants in order to go on these spirit journeys and whatnot, which is fascinating. It's like you have this spiritual family, and it's entertaining and also kind of comforting, thinking that you have your ancestors at your, not at your beck and call, but on your back and whatnot, in good ways and bad ways. Like, they're sitting there harassing you about this or that, and then it's like, hey, do better for your life and blah blah blah, don't be a Nancy Frampy like this person, and blah 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 blah, something like that. It makes you kind of giddy. Well, it makes me kind of giddy, because I'm like, oh, okay, so I have all these ancestors just sitting out there watching me. I was like, I already have my body spying on me, but like I have like all these ancestors out there watching me too, on the other side. I was like, they're probably like throwing money in there, going like, 10 on this. She's gonna do this. It's like, I know her more than you do. Just, I don't take a bet that I'm not gonna win, so I'm not a gambling fool. I only play to win. And when I play cards, you will not know my tales. You will never know my tales. You will think I am the worst bettor in the world until I take all of your money. I end up scaring people. But I like playing poker and Texas Hold'em and there's another one that's pretty fun. Blackjack. Well, it's kind of like a 21. Is that what they call it somewhere else? Okay, but anyways, but your choice. Okay, so they give you two cards. One card is facing up, and the dealer takes two cards. Okay, one is facing up, one is facing down. You're allowed to peek at the one that's facing down, but you're not supposed to show it to anyone. And you tell the dealer if you want another card by saying, hit me. You don't want them to hit you. It's just a little call for another card. I normally say, like, get me, give me a card. It's like, I don't want anybody to accidentally think I want to be hit or something. I'm not into that. It hurts. But anyways, so you're trying to get to 21. If you get over 21, then you bust, which means that you lose the game. If you get, if you're lower, if you have a lower amount of cards by adding the cards up than the dealer does, then you lose. The only way you win is that if you beat the dealer or the other participants in the game. It's quick. It's kind of risky in the department of. Oh damn. Okay, yeah. I still want to do that. Okay, so it's risky in the department of, like, am I going to be able to pull this off, kind of way. I didn't I? Flip. Okay, so I need to block one of these off. Alright, let me swap my thing in here. I don't have enough, I'm gonna have to resurface. Flip. I thought I had another shovel. Whatever. I'll just do the groundwork around here and leave that spot up. But yeah, anyways, that's one of my my favorite games too. Not my favorite game. My favorite game is Go Fish because it's fun and playful, and I have a lot of good memories playing Go Fish as a child, as well as teaching people how to play Go Fish. Oh, and Crazy Eights. Crazy Eights is so fun. It's like an Uno kind of version. Yeah, it's kind of like a cross between Uno and Rummy, almost. Because you can play for fours or you can play for twos. Kind of. No, hold on. Yeah, kind of both. Um, it's fun. I'm pausing because I need to run to the restroom because, liquids and little bladder. So, I'll be back. Okay, sorry about that. I had to grab some milk too. I didn't think Yins wanted to wait for me to rinse out the bottle, so I have it right here. So that's what that was. About right there. Okay. So what were we talking about? Oh, yeah, like ancestors and stuff. So, as I said, I've been going through a lot of different cultures and whatnot. And I've even been looking into like some really nifty legends, which I heard the cutest story about a flippin' hummingbird. It was amazing. I think I've mentioned it before, but it was still amazing. And yeah, it's really cute. I'm gonna use one of these. Mm. Oh, dang. That's what I was supposed to be doing. Okay, so let me hit that. Alright. Well, it's still daylight. Alright, so this looks like a good mountain. Oh, some of the legends. Flip. Okay, so there was one. Well, there's a lot of them about females in white. There's some scary legends. There's some really cute legends where, like, there are these beings of the forest who like to um, help passerbys when they get lost in the woods. So that's really cute. It's like, yeah, we don't want you dying in here, so hey, the path's over here. um, there are several different Armageddon stories. You have some from like the Viking Age, the Celts, and the some of the Swedens and whatnot, and uh, trying to Norwegian, because there were several different types of Vikings, and everybody thinks that they were all from the same area, but they were basically all kind of Vikings. It was kind of like a weird title. that certain people gave to them. It wasn't what they called themselves, if that makes sense. I'm sure some of them just like, well, like, okay, that's what they know us as, let's just continue it on. But there were their stories of Armageddon where everything was going to grow very, very cold and freeze. And some people have speculated that they went through a huge freeze and that they were part of a cataclysmic kind of thing. And other people are just like, oh no, they just had a really long winter. And it's like, well, which one's the right one, you know? Did they go through a huge winter? Which ones was it, you know? Because they kind of like melded all of their stories. Also with the pagans. Some of the pagan stuff is the same as like some of the Viking stuff, and it's like they kind of went a little crazy with that, because you know, certain people writing the text were kind of biased, and they were like, oh no, this is all one group. You know, these are pagans. These are people not worshippers of what we worship, so they're all in one group. And then some of them called them Vikings and explorers and the ones that come from the sea and all this other good stuff. And it's just like, okay, well, what was their story, you know? And then there are like 3 to 4 different creation stories that are floating around. Some cosmic eggs, some what was that called? A pregnant woman who got hurt and landed on a turtle, and the turtle took care of her along with some other creatures. And I was like, that is so flippin' sweet. I was like, that's so nice, you know, because they sat there and they took care of this person, even though they weren't even the same species. I was like, respect. But anyway, she was like a god that, what was the story? It was, okay, there was one there where she was killed and, planted, like somebody planted corn over her, and then that ended up making her fall down out of the heavens, and then she ended up in the water, which then the water was endless, and then a turtle came to her aid. And in that version, she wasn't pregnant, but she ended up being hurt to the point where she couldn't take care of herself. And I was like, okay, well, this is interesting. And others had this version where, well, I'm trying to recollect this and give it, you know, the justice or the due diligence that it should have. I know there was a version where there was some ducks that tried to keep her afloat, some other half water creatures that were full water creatures at this time, but like animals that were floating. And then the turtle came and started to help out, was like, okay, yeah, I'll join your cause, but he was kind of late to the party. Whoops. There was one that started where there was this, this cosmic egg, and inside the egg was someone. And then when he hatched, he kind of exploded. I mean, there's a few that were like with the cosmic egg. I was like, okay, why are they? I was like, yeah, we all kind of come from eggs, right? Because, you know, mama and papa and the, you fertilize an egg. And, anyways, so we just don't craft those, you know, lovely shells that, give the mama a chance to run away if she needs to. Or to actually go off and hunt for herself. Because not all males stay around, you know. But anyways, not being resentful or whatever, I'm just saying that's just how some nature works. Like with turtles, they don't even stay around. They're just like, okay, I got you this far, your fertilized eggs, you know, head towards the sound of the sea. Good luck. Mm. Mm. You're a punk. You're dirty. Nobody wants you around. Alright, so. You punk? How dare you? Four of them out, huh? Let's see if I can't get down here. I eat something. Oops. Alright, I'm going down. Okay, so, and then there was this other one that, like, whenever the, okay, so let me finish that one. Whenever this cosmic egg opened, the sky and star was born. Like, the stars was like an entity all on its own. And when he cracked out of that egg, it filled the sky. And then from there, he decided to create other things. And I was like, oh, well, that's pretty nifty. Whereas there was another one where this spider male had hatched out of this this egg. And I'm like, okay, that's kind of nifty. And he went on to craft this mud hut, and then all of a sudden he had female, and then they were doing their thing, and he had a brother, and I was like, wait, so were there people before this? I mean, like, did he just spontaneously pop out of nowhere? What is going on here? I didn't understand the story. I was completely at a loss. So apparently there had been other things before him, but yet they don't want to fully admit that there were in most of these, like, stories. Just like whenever they claim Aphrodite was when she was born, she either came out of Zeus's head like a splitting headache, or she was from the sea foam. She was born out of sea foam. I was like, okay. And then there was other legends of her being a born from a water deity who Zeus had slept with, because obviously Zeus was known for getting around or whatever and doing some horrible, unspeakable things to females, and people really should press charges, hey? If those allegations were true, I would not want to be his lawyer. Not that I am a lawyer, but I would not want to be his lawyer. Oh, we're getting to that point. Uh-oh. Alright, well. Whoopsies. How the... Did I not get that one fully? Did I really not? It's just gonna make little pockets of that, isn't it? It's gonna be weird. Was this as low as it goes? Nope. We still have some more to go. Okay. I definitely don't have enough for a chest. Okay, so I will have to remember where this is so that I can go back up to put stuff in chest. that must be where we start. What? Something underneath me? That's a lot. Oops. Okay. And that is where this ends. Really? Because I need to keep this main structure. I'll put that in there. So that I can fill in the rest of this. And hopefully I have enough to do so. I'm not sure what that is. Okay. Yep, we're good. What is a skeleton underneath there? What the? You lie! I'm pretty sure I filled all this in, so I don't know how the hell these little pockets survived. Okay, so I did a whole 360. I didn't nearly get enough. Alright, so let me make kind of like stairs, maybe? um, mm-mm. Yeah. I could make a ladder. I really don't want to. That involves going to go grab wood. But not really into grabbing wood right now. Is that really how far it was? I could have sworn it was even further than this. Let me go out there and check. No, that was right. That's filled with water. This is not. Hmm. could use this. I'll just set that down right now. Use that and this. Make some chest underneath. I don't think I'm gonna need that. Oh, hey, what's up? What's going on? So, 2 chests. Okay, so I need to be able to get in this section. Need to be able to see where this section starts, though. So, okay, that is that hole. What's up? How far does it go out? Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We'll do 8. Of course, we need 2 of these. He's just sitting there staring off into the distance. Okay, so... Trying to see if there's anything else I need out of here. What else do I need to throw down? This I need to throw down. Then... Okay, so... I could make some ladder-like thing. I don't recall how many I made it high. I think it was 8, so this should be enough. Okay, that's good to know. I can put, yep, it was 8. Okay. Alright. I should make up enough room. Commercial. It's gonna be a long process, but I hope it's gonna be worth it. I think it's way less of a process than, what is that called? Drying out sponges? I don't want anything spawning in here, so better safe than sorry. What? It's like, where the hell do they keep getting all this water? I thought I was pretty damn thorough, but I guess not. I don't think I really need the dirt here, but okay, I'm gonna keep it there though. Oh, some other creation stories. I was like, what were we talking about before I got so enthralled in something else? There was the Mud Hut one, there were a couple Cosmic Egg ones, there were a few about some like titans having their blood spilled and it creating like a new world kind of thing. Someone like dying and that became the body of the thing. I was like, well, if you're looking at it told from another perspective, then it would be plausible to understand it in another format. So let's try to okay. So what happens when somebody dies? They start to decompose, and the organisms living inside start freaking out because normal functions aren't going, and new organisms are like, oh nice, num 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 num. And so if you look at the Titan dying as one of the bacteria like starts or whatever, that would be interesting, like looking at it as a tale of sentient bacteria. I'm not mocking. I'm really not mocking. But sentient, I was just, the wonder of it. But sentient bacteria noticing that their host dies, but yet they're calling it a god or a titan because it's so, huge compared to what it was, and it becoming its new environment, and other things showed up with it. And did you just hear a witch? I just heard a witch. I'm freaking. More light. So thinking of it as sentient bacteria going about and finding out that, like, some of them found out that their host had died, but yet they kept it quiet from the other bacteria because the other bacteria didn't need to know that at the time. So them knowing the ins and outs of the area gave them a strategic advantage, and they were looked as more than the other bacteria around, and so they were called deities or gods and things. How they knew how to interface with what was left of the host, to the point where they looked like they had magical powers compared to the new bacteria that was growing and spawning around it, or even like just coming in to eat. Then it makes a more plausible kind of scenario in certain circumstances. But it's all good and fun to like sit here and theorize. But unless we know for sure, you never know. Who knows? Maybe there's beings of power out there who sat there and looked at one of those planets like they were a smorgasbord, and then ended up getting their hands caught with, like, in the cookie jar. Getting caught with their hands in the cookie jar. And someone else who was away for a little while found out and was like, mother flippers, what the hell are you doing here? And what the hell happened? But nobody wanted to fess up, so everybody pointed their fingers at everybody else, and it's just a whole cluster flick of he said and she said, and it just keeps getting worse as a distraction, but it's not entirely an distraction in the sense that this is just accumulating horror onto what is going to happen, and it's just going to end up being really, really bad, especially when things come to light. So, we're just talking in speculation, of course. So, other creation stories. Did I? Okay. I was like, it is awfully light right here. Did I put a light right there? So, if I put one right there, it would be lighter. I'm so glad this doesn't melt the stuff. Oh, no, we hit the sand. Flip. Alright, this is gonna be tough. I'll just put it in afterwards. Okay, so... Okay, alright. Okay, so if I just make sure it's over on this side instead of on that side, we should be fine. I want to make sure that we have enough lighting down here that I'm not spawning any creepies or crawlies while I'm trying to do this stuff. I could put one in between. Wapam. But anyways, so creation stories. I'm debating whether or not to tell this one because this one's a really, really old story. And it's so much better when people actually find it for themselves. Okay, so there was... Alright, so I'm gonna leave that as a mystery. So keep digging into some old stories for creation stories. There's some good ones. There's some really good ones. You'll find quite a few of the female ones, and you'll find some of some males, and then some of some creatures that you wouldn't want to mess with, even if someone had a gun to your head and told you to mess with it. You would be like, no, I'll take that thing over the gun any day, you know, kind of thing. It was like, no, this thing is far more scary than an actual gun, than you can even, like, you know, put a finger on it. So you would sit there and possibly laugh at the gun. I mean... I shy away from... Whoops. Let's just put something back in there. I shy away from people holding weapons of most varieties. Because, you know, owies hurt. Nobody likes putting themselves or their bodies in pain. At least I hope not. I mean, I have met a few people. But, yeah. Owies hurt. I don't know, should I start? I kind of want to, like, fill this up and have this, like, empty to start the other one. I do want to make another shovel because I'm gonna need it. It's gonna take entirely too long without a shovel. Are you okay? Are you stuck? Alright. I mean, you look kind of stuck to me. Alright, so I'm gonna move this. Make some sticks. Possibly make some more sticks. Make some torches, because I'm gonna need these. Alright, and then make a shovel. So, I shy away from weapons because, yeah, they hurt. But in the end result, what is it going to do other than destroy matter and possibly kill me? I do not fear death. I'd like to say it's another adventure, but I don't know if I have any more lives left after this one. But that would surely be an interesting one to find out. I'm not suicidal or anything, so don't worry about that. I'm not danger prone or accident prone either, so I usually leave well enough alone. And when it comes down to it, I'm not one to sit there and ask for trouble. I have a nice little motto that's don't start none and there won't be none. I don't normally tend to start any. Not in the bad ways. But there are stuff out there that you don't want to mess with, and even their best days, you don't want to mess with them. I've heard stories of some massive things hiding and some tiny things hiding. And not all of these are fiction. So, you know, we've only explored 2% of our oceans. We have explored more of space than our actual oceans. I found that kind of both entertaining and kind of odd. I was like, why are we trying to explore space if we don't even have a grasp on what we actually have here? They do have the technology to see temples and whatnot under the sediment and under quite a few layers of the earth. And yet we haven't explored all of our oceans. I wonder if there's some treaties or whatnot that's going on. I'd be appreciative to know. I know we have some interesting characters in a lot of different regions via legends and whatnot. All legends are based off of a little gradual little granule, or whatever the hell they call it, of truth. Oh, that sounded scary. There's something underneath. Oh, flip. Alright, that needs to be dirt though. Alright. Oh, we've almost reached the, nice. Oh, Coco. So, more creation stories. Trying to find my favorite one. Oh, there was one where somebody puked up the universe. And I was like, no. I was like, I have a story kind of like that. What the flip? I didn't puke up the universe or whatnot, but I knew someone who pretended to puke just so that he could get, well, he was doing a prank. Okay, we were bowling. It was an overnight bowling thing. And I believe I was 12 or 13. I was 13, I believe. And had a neighbor boy with us, and it was I 12 or 13 at that time? It was either 12 or 13. And had a neighbor boy, he was bowling with us, and it was my younger sister and my, well, younger half-sister and my younger half-brother. And we were, we were all together, and I'm trying to think whether or not his sister was there or not. The neighbor boy's sister. She was kind of my friend and kind of my half-sister's friend too. She liked to go back and forth between us. I was like, oh, okay, whatever. But she didn't live with him. No, she wasn't there at that time. Okay, so I remember there was somebody else there, but I'm having a hard time trying to remember who actually was there. No, Brittany wasn't there that time. I was like, it might have been Brittany, because we went to 2 overnight bowling things. One was where they turned the little LED, well, the black lights on. And I found out the hard way that certain material is not very visible where the black lights are concerned. I don't know what the material was called because it wasn't my shirt. My friend Brittany gave me the shirt to wear because she just wanted to see me in it, I guess. And I was like, okay, this is weird. She's like, oh, well, girls trade clothes all the time. And I'm like, well, I was like, I don't think it's gonna fit me because, like, she was a little bit bigger than me and taller than me. I was swimming in it, but I jerry-rigged it. It was like something that went around my my shirt, and it was just like a little hoop that you put over, but I had to tie it so that it came up properly because it was gonna be down here. And I'm like, no, I'm good. No. And then I had to kind of hike it up over my bra straps because I wasn't going without a bra. And I'm glad I didn't go without a bra because that shirt did not reveal itself under the magical black lights. And I was just like, okay, fine. I dealt with it. I wasn't gonna sit there and be ashamed. I didn't have a jacket at the time because I was told that it was going to be a hot night. And it was, and even though there were some males that actually had jackets, and the nice thing would have been to offer me one, they decided that they'd rather watch me walk around in what looked like my bra the whole night than be chivalrous. So, that was another story. But the guy, oh, they were such a nice person. So okay, this guy took mercy on me. He turned off the black light and then turned it back on and then turned it off and saw that my shirt was appearing and then disappearing and then appearing and then disappearing. So then he turned the other light on, and our two lanes were the only ones that did not have the the black light on. And I looked over to him and I went like this, thank you. And he was probably like 15, 16 at the time, maybe 17. But I gave my heartfelt thank you, and he waved because he acknowledged it and everything. Because I totally had my shirt on. I had a shirt that I wasn't familiar with. And, yeah. I'm sure there were pictures taken there. You could possibly, if you... Don't look it up. I mean, you'd be like a massive perv. Definitely not digital age, so I lucked out with that one. I was just wearing like a white bra. You couldn't see anything. I barely had anything to begin with. So, whatever. It was slightly embarrassing, but I couldn't do anything about it, so I was like, I'm not going to shame my body by being embarrassed. Here we are. This is what we're doing. And then I moved on from it. So, I'd like to say easy peasy, but, I didn't appreciate the looks, if that makes any sense. Alright, so now to do this side. Okay, I'm gonna have to cut this into 4s. And make a little safe zone so that I can get oxygen on this level too. Okay. Let me back in. I'm right on the hole. What the hell? Because you needed to, bite me first. I got a little punk. Alright, so. Trying to think of where would be an appropriate way. I could put it on this wall. That way that's catty corner and that's catty corner, and I'd still have enough time to reach. Here we go. Wall. Okay. I wasn't paying attention. My fault. Oh, it's my favorite time of day. And yet there's nothing to watch. So sad. Well, at least in, what is that thing called? In Minecraft, that's my favorite time of day, because the rates go away. Damn it. Uh-oh. Flip. Okay, that worked. Possibly should have done that one lower. I could still fix that. Uh-oh, freezing. Okay, that works. Okay, so about the vomit story. So I was there with my younger brother, my younger brother and younger half sister, and I was supposed to be babysitting them as well as, you know, making sure everybody was okay and whatnot. So I was just like chilling, and I really loved the bowl. So I was waiting on my turn, and it ended up, let me just, okay. So, trying to think of the best way to explain this. Okay, so someone came over, and they were one of the older people, and in this bowling alley you could buy alcohol if you were old enough, and he didn't look old enough, but we figured that some punk possibly gave him some like alcohol or something, and he walked over to us all woozy and stuff, and then he's like, I don't feel very good, and then like all of a sudden he's like, blah, and like there's puke all over the damn display of like the thing where we punch in the scores and the names and whatnot. And I'm just sitting there going like, I was like, can I not get away from drunk people? Can I just not get away from drunk people? So that's another time, another story. Anyways, I waited for somebody to take charge and actually do something because, you know, learning experiences and whatnot, you know, someone might be able to do something better than I could. Everybody was just sat there frozen. not knowing what the flip to do. So I put my big girl pants on. I got up from where I was seated, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna touch you. Is it okay if I touch you? And he was like, and I was like, I put him to where I was sitting. I was like, you're gonna want to sit down. You're gonna want to put your head between your legs and take shallow breaths. In slowly, out slowly, because I'm sure your throat is on fire, because I have thrown up before. I didn't do it on purpose. I had to take medication and it upchucked, and it was not fun. It was not fun at all. So I was like, I pointed to my younger brother. I gave him $2. I said, grab some clear liquid, some clear pop, maybe Sprite, 7-Up. I was like, I don't care. Just make sure it's clear and it's something sweet. He's gonna need it. And I was like, make sure that you tell them you need a ton of napkins and explain the situation, because they're not gonna give you the napkins unless you explain the situation. So I made sure he was off doing that. I told people to back off and give him some air. I sat there and I asked him what was he drinking, and he was like, I don't know, somebody gave me something in a cup. And I was like, okay, well, we're gonna get you straight. Just, keep your head between your legs until you can, feel like you're not nauseous anymore. And then when you start feeling like you're not nauseous, start to slowly ease up. If you start feeling nauseous again, put yourself back down in that position. And my younger brother came back, and he was like, he brought the pop there. He gave me the napkins. I went over there, and I was going to swipe it up with the wadded up napkins, and it was plastic throw up that looked like somebody didn't chew up some pineapple and like pizza. There were like pizza things in there, and I was like, I turned around and I looked at him and I said, how could you? I threw his throw up, his little plastic throw up at him, and he was like, he was like, that was amazing. And and I was like, you don't say anything. And I sat down, and I just sat there, and I was just like, I was trying to calm down. I was trying to breathe. And I was like, of all the things to sit there and lie about. And he came back, he came closer, and he was like, can I still keep the pop? And I said, get the hell out of here. I was like, I don't ever want to see you again, let alone flip and talk to you. And he was like, it was a joke, but you were amazing. And I was like, what? I was like, if you needed to test somebody's character or something, go find somebody else. I was like, I hate being tested. And he was like, it was just a prank, I'm sorry. And I was just like, just go. Just go. And I really, really hate being tested. And next few days, because it was like on a Friday to a Saturday, on Monday, he had come up to me in lunch, and he had a magazine kind of folded, and he was like, it was that one right there. And I was like, oh, Vomit Guy. And because I didn't recognize him at all, and I had my friend Missy right next to me, and she's like, Vomit Guy. And I was like, I'll tell you in a minute. And I was like, what do you want? And Missy's like, are you okay? And I was like, just give me a minute. Because she didn't really ever see me violent, and I was getting kind of angry. I don't like being deceived. I mean, does anyone like being deceived? But to sit there and, like, get me to care for you. Pretend to be sick. So that I sit there and I nurture you and I spend $2 on you to make sure that your tum-tum was okay. And it's for a prank? A prank? It's like, what the flip is wrong? I was like, dude, what the flip? And he was like, he apologized. He again stated how amazing that was. And he was like, but the way you took charge. And I was like, what? I was like, do you think that I'm ever going to trust you again? Like, given the circumstances, I want to backhand you. He was like, go ahead and hit me. I was like, if we can get over this, go ahead and hit me. And I was like, no, I don't want to hit you. I do want to hit you, but I'm not going to hit you and get in trouble by one of these flipping, lunch flipping guys. There were teachers around and everything. I wasn't going to get in trouble for this guy. But, like, holy flip. I was just like, I mean, looking back on it, I still get a little angry, but then I was just like, yeah, he's forever and always going to be Vomit Guy. I found out he was somebody's cousin, and they had mentioned this to them, and they had sat there and said, oh, I heard you're really nurturing, and I was like, what? I was like, you never talk to me. What do you want? I get suspicious when people who don't normally talk to me come up out of nowhere and just like, hi. You're really nurturing. And I'm like, what is this about? Who are you? Why? And he's like, oh, my cousin, he's been raving about you. And I was like, what? I was like, who's your cousin? It's like, I don't know people's family. I'm not self-absorbed, but I'm not like, oh, this person's related to that person, and I know this person sitting next to that person in, like, science, and blah, blah, blah. I'm not getting in your business. I don't want you in my business, It's like, don't ask, don't tell. I don't want to hear it. You don't want to hear it. We're good, right? I was like, I had my friends. Everybody else left us alone. I was fine with that. We were oddballs as it was, and I remember having to stop a few times in the midst of telling the story to restart the story because I had told her I would tell her at the table, and then Ronnie, my other friend, he had stopped me like 3 times because he wanted to hear the story, but he kept forgetting things and then like running off to go get them. And then some of his friends were like waving him over, and so some of his friends wanted to know why I looked so angry in the lunch line, and because I was like, well, I was like, why don't you just sit still, Ronnie? Just sit still, and I'll tell you. And he was like, okay, because I have to tell them. And I was like, you don't have to tell them anything, Ronnie. Just, chill. And he was like, no, but everybody's buzzing about something. And I was like, what do you mean? And they were like, well, you don't normally get angry like this. And you just sat there and told off like I think he was like a 9th or 10th grader. I mean, he was quite a few years older than me, and they were people talk, and they thought that we were having like a romantic moment or something, and like he tried to hit on me or something, but no. He was sitting there trying to apologize for pretending to be sick and wasting my time. I like many other people, don't like my time wasted. And I don't like being emotionally abused, and that was very emotionally abusive. I sat there and I tried to care for somebody. I tried to make the situation better. I was calm. I was cool, collected. There was an emergency happening. I mean, just for it to be a flippin' prank. I'm just like, wow. That is just. Not only did I feel like I was a fool, but I was ashamed that I even tried to help him. I mean, I was so flippin' upset about that. I was like, wow. And then everybody saw that I could do that, and then they're going to be expecting things, and it's just like, uh, like, certain people get weird whenever they know that you're a nurturer, and then they go about trying to guilt you into things, and it gets really icky really fast. And I don't normally trust people who are just coming after me for certain things. And I'm just like, okay, what is it? What do you want? And what do you need? Because most people that I dealt with in high school, they either wanted you to do something for them, whether it be like a book report or whatever, or I wasn't the smartest student in the class or the school and whatnot, but I was an avid note taker, and I did have a few people who wanted to share notes with. In other words, they wanted to borrow my notes so that they could copy them. And I was like, okay, yeah. I mean, they sat there and they mucked around in class and they weren't paying attention, but I was like kind of writing down a few viewpoints and whatnot, and little mental notes like, okay, now, like, I would have like little side notes next to the paragraphs. Make sure like this is on page blah blah blah, and like I would put like the captions of here and there. Oh, good display is this page this and figure A blah blah, and I would have that on there too. I go weird with my notes, okay? And I had a few people who wanted to, copy those notes, especially certain people that I was kind of related to. But yeah, my friends never really asked for me like the notes. They would ask what pages was this on or that on. And whenever Ronnie actually broke his arm and he was away for a few weeks, Missy went out of her way to make sure that he had all of the, stuff he needed, and she would go to his house to bring him little homework packets, so he didn't go that far behind. I was like, that was really sweet of her, because she didn't even take his classes though. She had me take some of the, like, he was in my science class, so I would take worksheets home with me. Well, not home, but I would take them to the, like, outside of the school, and then I would give them to Missy because, like, I had my science after lunch, and we only saw each other during breakfast and lunch, and in, I think, my English class. Yeah, but my English class was before lunch, and then my science class was after lunch. My reading class was after lunch, which was stupid. I had a horrible reading teacher. It was a female. And then I got a male the next year, which was nice. The female, she was quite arrogant. okay, so she sat there and decided to try to embarrass me in front of the whole class because she thought I wasn't listening, but then I repeated everything that she had just said. And I was listening, I was avidly listening, but I was taking notes, so I wasn't looking at her. I mean, like, I even showed her my notebook. I was like, I'm not doodling. I am taking down what you just talked about. And she's like, well, pay attention to me. And I was like, if I wasn't paying attention to you, lady, I wouldn't be taking notes. And she's like, she got all red for a second, and then she just, like, kept giving me the stink eye. And I was like, how is this my fault? You embarrassed yourself by trying to embarrass me. You know, I never really got that out of some people. And then she would ask me these questions. I don't like sitting there and talking in public. In her class, you would have to stand up to talk and everything, and I hated that part too. I was just like, okay, so not only do I have to talk, but I have to be standing in front of everybody, and I can't just, like, cower in my seat and just, like, but she had me stand because I said what, you know, I repeated what she had said after she was like, and she sat there and she's like, you know, she had said something along the lines of, we were talking about this, we had just read this Mars story, and like one of the characters had like fallen down the stairs and they were unable to use their bodies and whatnot, and this was on like a gravity where it was so intense that you wouldn't be able to use much and everything. And then she's like, if only people were paying attention. And she was yelling, and I was staring at her, and I was like, wait a minute, that doesn't sound like what happened in the book. So I stopped taking notes, and I was just staring at her. And she said, instead of writing notes, and I was like, well, I'm not writing notes, like, notes to, like, trade with other people during class. I was writing notes, taking notes of the actual thing. And then she's like, what are you doing? And I was like, I'm taking notes. And she's like, oh, she's like, well, what did I just say? And I was like, he fell down the stairs. The gravity was too high, and we're supposed to be coming up with what were his next movements. And she's like, and I was like, what, was I wrong? And she was just like, she's like, you're lucky this time. And I was like, what do you mean? I was taking notes. I wasn't writing notes, I was taking them. But then she gets all upset, and then she gives me the stink eye for the rest of the flippin' time I'm in our class. And like, ugh, I dreaded that class afterwards. I was just like, no. I was like, that teacher hates me. It's like, I don't want to be in that class. I was like, I wonder if I can switch classes. But like, dude, it's like, maybe, like, first off, before you yell at somebody and make a fool out of yourself, you might want to actually see what they're actually doing. Maybe, just maybe, might surprise you. So I talked about the throw up story, and I never really talked to him after that again. He just, I told his cousin that I never wanted to talk to him. And he was like, really? It was like, he's just telling everyone about that story. And I was like, he broke my trust. And I was like, I don't deal with people I don't trust. And he was like, but he apologized. And I was like, what? I was like, what would you have done in that situation? And he was like, well, I would have, kicked his butt. And I was like, well, what? And he was like, but you're so nice. And I was like, and I don't want to talk to him. I didn't want the opportunity for him to fool me again, in other words. It was a very dirty, awful feeling knowing that I had tried to help somebody, but they never really needed my help to begin with. And it was just for a prank. Not even a good prank either. I told his his cousin, that if he was going to do pranks, not to do pranks to people who were honestly going to try to help him. Because it wasn't fair to them, and he's going to end up hurting somebody. Excuse me, by the way. No flip. Yeah, before I do that, let me just put this in here. Whoops. I've met my fair share of tricksters, but after a while, they end up just... when they get to know you and they realize that you're not going to do certain things or deal with certain things, they end up either easing back or just dropping you completely. So... I'm all for a good laugh and whatnot, but not on the expense of if you're trying to get... I know it sounds like I'm being a baby about it, but if you're trying to get nurturing feelings out of it, that's quite manipulative. I mean, that's a big no-no on most people's part. Whoops. trying to think of a lighter story. Nope. I'm stuck. Hopefully. That sounds like a traveling merchant. It is. A geisha tree. Oh. Okay. Well, it is 9:28. I'll keep thinking of a good story, and I'll keep you posted if I have that another crazy weird dream or whatever. So I'm gonna save and quit and say goodnight.